Hey guys, it's Lisa. It is day 11 of VEDA. We are past day 10, so we are more than a third way through. Yay! Um, I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about today. I had a few ideas in mind, um, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about Doctor Who because that can be really spoilery for people who haven't seen it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to bring you around somewhere or if I wanted to talk about an actual subject or like what I wanted to talk about. And in the end, I decided to talk about something that's a little bit touchy to people. But just to tell you guys, well, let me tell you what it is first. It's about ghosts and, spirits and such. But I don't care if you don't believe in them or if you do believe in them. This is a lively discussion. That's why I'm bringing it up, because I want to know how you guys feel. So if you can put the comments, any comments down there about what you've experienced or what you believe or what you don't believe, then that would be really cool, because I want to know what you guys think. As for me, I do believe in ghosts and believe in spirits. I don't really have a factual background for it. I can't really say, oh, this is why they exist, this is why they don't exist, which is probably a reason it's such a touchy subject, because, even less than the possibility of alien life can people really prove that there are ghosts or spirits. Sometimes there are, sometimes there aren't, and even the views of people who believe in them. So you can't really say, oh, if this happens, there will be a ghost in the house, or this is what it'll look like, this is what it'll do, because there's just so many different possibilities. And I understand that, there's a lot of stories revolving around them that are fictional that people have written, but I do believe in them. Again, not because of some factual reason or anything, but because I've experienced it. I was at this house about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. It was during the summer, and it was like midnight. A team of mine and I had decided to do a 48-hour film festival that was hosted by our school. And we decided to kind of horror thriller kind of genre. So we needed a house that was kind of abandoned and kind of looked shabby and such. And there was one that was about an hour and a half away from us. It was off the highway in this kind of closeted forest area, and it was really dark in that area, and you wouldn't have imagined a house to be there at all. It was old and abandoned and falling apart and such. And we hadn't even been told, oh, it's said to be haunted or anything, which leads me to believe it wasn't just my imagination going, oh my gosh, there it is, because I'm very picky about that. If you go into a house that you already believe to be haunted, it's a lot easier for your brain to play tricks on you and say, oh my gosh, that was it. So I didn't hear any of that. I just thought it was a regular house that was abandoned. And when we got there, it was totally dark, of course, because it was midnight, and we turned on the generators and everything. We went inside, and I was to hold the light, and we were just doing a scout location at first, and we went in, and first of all, if you look down the hallway, it was so dark and shadowy and everything that you could barely see 2 or 3 feet away from you. It was incredibly dark, and I don't know if past it the walls were falling down or whatever, but you really couldn't see. In the hallway that we were in the one that enters, one of the bookshelves had been knocked, this huge bookshelf had been knocked against the wall, and all the walls were crumbling and such. And you look to your left, and there was this giant room, and it was, I assume it was the living room from before. But you look in there, and everything's a mess. These huge glass windows that were probably the size of my wall in the back, which you can't even see the whole wall. They were huge windows, and there were about 3 of them, and all 3 of them had been completely smashed in, and the glass was all over the floor in the living room. And there were newspapers crumpled up and everything, and there were ones from like the 60s and ones from like the 80s and such, all crumpled together, and there was like overturned furniture and all this really weird stuff, but that you sort of expect from an abandoned house, especially for people who, loiter there and sleep there whenever they don't have another place to go. But there was a single piece of furniture in the room that was completely fine, completely intact, not turned over or anything. And it was this single wooden chair in the middle of the room. It was really weird. And all around it, there were bullet casings, empty bullet casings, which really freaked me out and freaked my friend out. And there were electrical wires that you could tell had either been pulled out or something had happened to them, which may have been the reason the house was abandoned. But first of all, it felt really weird. Even before we saw any of this kind of odd stuff, like I'd been completely fine driving up there. And then when I got to the house, my stomach hurt so bad, and I felt really, really sick and really dizzy. And it wasn't one of my vertigo spells. It was just not feeling well. And one of my other friends felt it too. And she was like really turned off, and she had to go sit outside for like 20 minutes because she felt so ill. And I was like, well, I need to be part of the set, so I need to be here. So I was doing the lighting, and I felt something on my shoulder, and I can't really explain it. And I know that sounds really bizarre, but it was cold. It wasn't like cold, it was cool. It was very, very light. It wasn't like someone physically touching me. It was like, felt kind of like a curtain falling across my shoulder, and I looked back and there was nothing there. And I know that sounds completely supernatural and stuff, but I kind of believe it was, just because I felt so sick, and when I left the house to go with my friend to get some water, I felt completely fine again. And maybe that was a mental thing, but it happened again whenever I walked back into the house to look around, and it's just, I really believe it, and I've had a few other experiences, but I really believe in it just because this world seems so vast, and like the universe seems so incredibly large that it seems rather unlikely to me that this kind of thing can't happen. I don't know. Maybe it's not true. Maybe ghosts and spirits don't exist, and I have no idea what the circumstances were of the house. But to me, I believe in them. And I mean, whether they're angry or not, or there's like differing situations, I do. It's my opinion. So I just wanted to know how you guys feel, if you guys believe in it or don't, and what I said earlier. So just comment in the bottom and rate if you'd like, and subscribe as usual. So I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog today. If you guys have any topics that you want me to talk about, then post those too. So thanks a bunch, guys. I will talk to you later. Bye.